I've come to the realization that the best way to get Justin Trudeau out of office isn't actually by heckling him here in Canada. It's not by allowing him to debate Pierre Poilievre. It's really just letting him go abroad and do his prime ministerial duties and just let the world take care of him. This is a pretty hilarious story, fresh off the press. Justin Trudeau is probably banned from India after this. He goes to India for the G20 and he becomes the laughing stock. And not only that, but his plane got grounded. Indian news just rips into him, and that of course bleeds back here locally where Canadian news is ripping into him. And it doesn't end for Trudeau. It doesn't end. If I were him, I would literally get Botox, change the face, change the name, and move to like a faraway Caribbean island or somewhere that no one knows you and just start off brand new, because I'm sure Justin Trudeau doesn't want to come home after this. Welcome back to another video, everybody. This is going to be probably a bit of a longer one. We have a lot of different clips, a lot of different pieces of information to cover between Justin Trudeau's speeches, Indian news criticizing him. Okay, we got lots of different sound bites and stuff like that. So you're going to want to stick around for the entire duration of today's video. Before we get into it, though, I'd like to encourage you to give a like, follow, share this video, share it on your Facebook, share it to Facebook groups, whatever it is you need to do to get the word out there, because this is going to be absolutely hilarious. And as well as if you'd like a matching hat, Christmas is coming. Just so you know, they're great gift ideas. Link for that. The merch is down in the description below. So let's start with local news. Obviously, you have the Toronto Sun just obliterating Justin Trudeau, saying this way out. And he's being basically held by the leader of India saying, come on, buddy, let's go. Come on, follow me. Let's leave India. And then it didn't just end with Trudeau. This is the only clip of not Trudeau that I'm going to play. But of course, Joe Biden is, not guilty, or I guess he is guilty of just being Joe Biden. Like, it's just an absolute shit show at the G20.
And I particularly want to thank Prime Minister Modi and the Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia, Mohammed bin Salman, and President von der Leyen and the European Commission. And since he's not speaking today, I wanted to, maybe he is speaking today. I had a note he wasn't speaking. At any rate, I'm going to stop there.
Why is it that everywhere Joe Biden goes, he embarrasses himself? But more importantly, so does Justin Trudeau. They're very much made for each other. Okay, I've got some sound bites here. This is from CPAC on YouTube. You're gonna want to stick around and watch these, because it just goes to show that Trudeau is not a world leader. He's not made for the global stage, and he's expired. His best years have come and gone. I'm not saying that Justin Trudeau was ever worthy of good years, but it's not a good look for him. It's not a good look for him.
During my meetings with leaders of the G20, I also reaffirmed the importance of the rule of law and the rules-based international order. The rule of law is not just a concept. It's people's lives, it's people's jobs. Without these rules, we can't have the stability that is essential to global prosperity and economic growth. Countries in the G20 are all different, but it's the search for those common rules that brings us together. And this brings me to Russia. Not only is Russia's brutal invasion of Ukraine criminal and unacceptable, and killing thousands of people, it's also creating energy and food insecurity around the world. This week, I continued to advocate for collective action to hold Putin accountable and to secure a just and durable peace that starts with Russia's immediate withdrawal from Ukraine. Canada will never recognize the results of the ongoing sham elections held by Russia in Ukraine. People like Putin mistake being reasonable for being weak. He is dead wrong. Canada will continue to support Ukraine with whatever it takes for as long as it takes.
That speech might work on, the hardcore libs here in Canada. On the global stage in India, no one is taking Justin Trudeau seriously. No one thinks that Putin, is anyone like Putin's a very strong individual. He runs a very strong country. Ukraine is, despite the news, I don't believe Ukraine is winning. I don't think a lot of people actually believe Ukraine is winning, because Ukraine is backed by dozens of other countries. I mean, America's given more money to Ukraine than almost Canada's entire GDP. Canada is giving so much money to Ukraine, it just doesn't make any sense. So why are we having to fund this war if Ukraine is winning? And also, why is he using his G20 platform to talk about the war? Why not focus on other things? Focus on global trades, talk about growing Canada's economy with the help of other countries and what we can provide to other countries. It's bizarre. It doesn't make any sense. It's so weird. And he just doubles down on his insanity, and it just shows everybody, yeah, man, this guy is not fit to be prime minister, which is why he's not taken seriously ever by anybody.
Climate action is one of the 17 United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, which also include ending poverty, achieving gender equality, and ensuring quality education, among others. Whether it was during ASEAN earlier this week or here at the G20, I continue to talk about these goals to raise awareness with other leaders. It's important to continue the work so that economic growth benefits everyone, including the most marginalized. And Canada will continue doing its part. We will help finance and grow women-led agricultural enterprises in Nigeria. We will help bolster food security in the Democratic Republic of Congo and increase incomes for women in the industry. And we will invest to promote school nutrition in Burkina Faso. This is all in support of the Sustainable Development Goals, and we'll continue this work in the months and years to come. This was a very productive week, whether it was here at the G20, in my meetings with business leaders, with the different ASEAN leaders or other partners. There is a real enthusiasm for Canada and for our engagement in the Indo-Pacific region. This is good, because our goal coming here is to create more good jobs for Canadians, make life more affordable, and foster economic growth that benefits everyone.
Okay. Yeah, nobody is focusing on climate change the way Justin Trudeau is, which is why you're going to see very shortly Indian press just rip into him. It's absolutely disgraceful for him to use a global stage platform. Now, G20 is supposed to be like a very powerful summit, and I feel like it's been it's been watered down over the years. It just doesn't seem as relevant. It doesn't seem as impactful. And when you have clowns like Justin Trudeau taking the stage and using his platform to just, reiterate a bunch of nonsense to farm votes in Canada, you're on the global stage, buddy. Nobody cares about climate change and climate taxes in Canada. India doesn't care about that. They have 1 billion plus people in India. So talk about more relevant things that are actually, you can talk about with other country leaders that you rarely ever get the chance to do. I hope that Justin Trudeau is enjoying the last little bit of his free travel and all of this free press, because it's coming to an end. Trudeau will not be relevant in, after the next election, whether that's this fall or next year or 2025. It's coming to an end for Justin Trudeau.
Hi, Prime Minister. I'm wondering if you can say why you signed on to and agreed to a leader's declaration that does not condemn Russia for its illegal invasion of Ukraine.
If it was just up to me, the leader's declaration would have been much stronger, particularly on Ukraine. If it was just up to other countries around the table, it would have been much weaker, particularly on Ukraine. The G20 is an extremely disparate group, and we worked very hard to get as strong language as we possibly could.
Based on the language in the declaration, Ukraine is saying that there is nothing to be proud of from this summit. Do you feel like you've let down Ukraine and the summit itself?
These summits are always an extraordinarily important moment to come together to deal with big global issues, and we all...
But he's not talking about any global issues. First of all, he's not reading the room, and he's talking about Russia and Ukraine, which is what a lot of G20 leaders don't want to talk about. But you have this dickwad here who's forcing it down people's throats in a sort of propaganda way. And then he's talking about Canadian climate change. It doesn't make any sense. It's so bizarre. It's so bizarre. So we're going to take a look now at an Indian news channel that, is just putting Trudeau on blast on Twitter. Here we go.
Sikh Khalistani militants in Canada. And the second is the question of interference in Canada by India, which has been cited by Canada's own intelligence agencies. Did neither of those topics come up?
No, they both came up over the years with Prime Minister Modi. We've had many conversations on both of those issues. Obviously, Canada will always defend freedom of expression, freedom of conscience, freedom of peaceful protest. That's something that's extremely important to us.
No, it's not to you.
We're always there to prevent violence, to push back against hatred. I think on the issue of the community, it's important to remember that the actions of the few do not represent the entire community or Canada. The flip side of it, we also highlighted the importance of respecting the rule of law, and we did talk about foreign interference.
Yeah. Also, by the way, yeah, we know your country's infiltrated ours. Like, he just throws that casually at the end. Okay, his point about the actions of a few do not represent the many, I agree with that, but not about the convoy. About Trudeau. Trudeau is not a representation of Canada or Canadians, and to a lot of people, he's not our prime minister. I think we can identify as having somebody else as a prime minister, and personally, I, Mr. Sunshine Baby, identify as Justin Trudeau not being my prime minister. I'm prime ministerless. I'm P-ministerless. I'm trying to find a fun way to spin that. It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense. Trudeau is being roasted to his face, and he doesn't even know it. Indian News was highly supportive and also highly critical of the Freedom Convoy when it was happening. I'm not sure if a lot of people actually remember that, but if you do, shout out to you in the comments. Props to you, because he was just on blast all the time. It might look familiar what I'm about to put on screen. This type of screen here is where Trudeau just got blasted during the convoy, and now again. Breaking news. There is always a lot of work to do. Prime Minister Modi meets Justin Trudeau. How to deal with Canada. Like, this is just a horrible, horrible look for Trudeau and Canadians. And frankly, I'm embarrassed. I don't even know if I identify as a Canadian right now. To be honest, I really don't know if I identify as a Canadian. Let's take a look at this.
Okay, so I'm going to now shed the diplomatics, because when something manifestly insane takes place in your face, there's no reason to be polite about it. Justin Trudeau has just shown you the finger when it comes to Khalistan. This man has just come after imposing an emergency in his country to crack down on the freedom of expression and the right to peaceful protest. And has just talked about the freedom of expression and the rule of law and the right to protest. Okay? Now, the truth is, Mr. Trudeau, like any good Punjabi, I have family in Canada, and I promise you, the nonsense that you're talking is emanating from sheer hubris, a total disconnected view of the world, where you think that we don't see what you're up to, we don't understand what you're up to, and you can continue behaving in a totally nonsensical fashion, talking nonsense.
He thinks that people are stupid, not only us Canadians, but he thinks Indians are stupid. He thinks women are stupid. He doesn't respect anybody. He thinks that everyone is below him. We see what you're doing, Justin Trudeau. It's obvious. You have suppressed free speech. You do not believe in the rights of freedom of expression to protest. You don't believe in the freedom of assembly to protest or otherwise, because you have cracked down and turned the Freedom Convoy into something, a malicious attack on people, on innocent people who didn't have a motive to overthrow the government. That was never even a discussion on the official convoy. The actions of a few don't reflect the many. Stick to those words. There were a few people that had absolutely nothing to do with the convoy that just showed up the way you can show up to any public event and maybe had malicious intent. That doesn't reflect everyone and everything. And it's crazy that he's so hypocritical and so delusional that he thinks that Canadians are just going to believe what he's saying, where he's convinced himself that his own lies are the reality of what's happening. It's an embarrassment to our country. I'm embarrassed to have JT as, our world leader and what would kind of be the face of Canada on the global level. It's embarrassing, and I truly identify as Trudeau not being my prime minister. I can't say that without smiling. I identify as Trudeau not being not being my prime minister. I can't do it. I always smile. And shout out to you in the comments if you also identify as Trudeau not being your prime minister. Why don't we start that, get that trending, right? I identify as no JTPM. I don't know what the hashtag would be, but it's embarrassing, and I'm glad that he's finally being put on blast. And karma has kind of served them, really, because when you look at what's happened, he actually got stranded in New Delhi because his house, or sorry, not his house, his plane didn't function properly. There's a malfunction. We don't know what it is, but they've sent a new one since then. Alternative plane is on the way to pick up Prime Minister Justin Trudeau. Delegation stranded in Delhi. First of all, I think it was a year ago, Trudeau and his primary residence are in the cottage, right? There was a bunch of rodents, a rodent infestation. And now you have this weird separation agreement. You have a weird shuffling with his wife, a weird shuffling of his cabinet, including Sophie shuffled her cabinet, shaked off Justin Trudeau. And now you have a plane that doesn't work. I mean, do we have anything in Canada that works? Not even people. Us people can't even work. What's the point of working? Why work? Why work? Gas is too expensive. Houses is too expensive. Why do anything? Nothing works in Canada. Nothing works. I mean, I know you work. I'm not saying you don't work. I'm just saying, what's the point? What's the point of anything in Canada? Trudeau and Canadian G20 delegation still in New Delhi after plane grounded. Technical issues prevent plane from leaving as scheduled on Sunday night. Prime Minister Justin Trudeau is stuck in India due to technical issues on his plane following a G20 leaders summit that concluded with a statement on Russia's invasion of Ukraine that was less harsh than he had hoped, he said. At a closing summit news conference in New Delhi on Sunday, Trudeau said he pushed for harsher language, but that if other leaders had their way, the declaration would have been much weaker. If it was just me, it would have been stronger. Why are you focusing so much attention on Ukraine and Russia? People are fed up with it. It's enough. No, other countries aren't profiting as much. All this money that we're sending to Ukraine is allegedly, it's not just free money. It's apparently this type of loan. So we're going to get a lot of money back plus interest. How's it going to work? Like half Ukraine's gone, isn't it? Like Ukraine's being destroyed. So how are we ever going to get that money back? It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense when we can put all that money, $10 billion here in our Canadian economy. Trudeau's pushing for childcare, $10 a day across the board for everyone. Well, he could actually do that with that money to go to Ukraine. He could force the Bank of Canada to lower interest rates. I don't know how. Pay him. I don't care. Make it happen, guys. Come on. It's embarrassing. And at this point, I hope you join me in solidarity with identifying as Justin Trudeau not being our prime minister. We can identify as whatever we want. Why not? It's Canada, land of the free, home of the communist dictator. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to give a like and subscribe. If you haven't already, please consider sharing this video. Share it to Facebook. Share it to Facebook groups if you haven't yet. And I'd love to know if you have any comments, questions, or concerns about any of the topics that I've covered. And yeah, that's where we're going to end it. Thanks for watching, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye for now. Thanks so much for making it to the end of the video. If you want to support the channel financially, you can do so by checking out the merch shop linked right up there. Or if you want to do something for free, which is also absolutely acceptable and highly encouraged, you can subscribe right there. If you want to continue watching videos like this, you can do so by clicking or tapping right there to watch the next upcoming video. And if you want to watch a little bit of different content, but also Canadian stuff, you can do so by clicking right up there. That's my second channel, House of Canada, also known as the House of Commons Highlights. Thank you so much for watching. I look forward to seeing you in the next video.